Hi folks, how you doing? It's James JT at the movies, and I'm finally back with you for everything that I've picked up over the summer of 2025. I'm not going to bother trying to contain this to a month because pretty much it's what I picked up at the end of July, all of August, and most of September as well. So let's just call it a summer 2025 update. There's not as much as there might normally have been once upon a time for that sort of length of time period, but I like to think that what I've picked up is more quality rather than quantity. So we'll start as always with the DVDs, we'll work into some Blu-rays, and then I have a handful of special edition boutique Blu-rays to show you. No 4Ks this time though. The first thing I'll show you is something I picked up last week. I'm not normally one for picking up TV seasons, but for $4.99, completely sealed in our local Oxfam, I picked up South Park seasons 11 to 15. So some of my favourite episodes of South Park are within this run of episodes. In particular, the Human Sentai Pad. If you've seen that episode, you'll know why. I think that's absolutely hilarious. So for a fiver, I thought, do you know what? I'm going to pick this up. We used to have the Paramount Plus, but all I was watching on it was South Park, and I just didn't find that it was worth the monthly subscription for the one thing. But now that I've got this, I can just put the episodes that I would go on there and watch anyway. And if I come across the other box sets in the series cheap, I might pick them up. Who knows? But that's the first one to show you. The next one is one that I could have watched on Disney Plus, but I like to support physical media, as all of us do. If you're watching this, I'm sure you're in the same boat. I'm looking forward to watching this one. I picked it up quite recently. It's Lawrence Fishburne and Rami Malek in The Amateur. I went to watch this one and I didn't have it, and I was convinced I had it. I'm sure that I had this film in my collection at one point, but I can't find it anyway. And it turned out to be the only Clint Eastwood film that I didn't have, and it's a Clint Eastwood directed effort called Hereafter, starring Matt Damon. Interestingly enough, as well, when I reordered this one, I ordered the double play with the Blu-ray, but it's come in a DVD case, but it's Blu-ray and DVD, and I thought I'd be a bit annoyed, but actually I'm quite pleased because it's quite a quirky little thing to have in the collection. I picked this one up mostly for Laura. I do want to watch it, but she saw the trailers for this when we were at the cinema watching something earlier in the year, and she was really taken with it. And it's Novocaine, so we haven't got around to it yet, but we are going to watch it very soon. I said in my last update that if I came across this somewhere cheap, that I would pick it up to complete a trilogy. I found it. It's Little Fockers. And I think there's a new one coming out either Christmas this year or early next year as well. So quite timely to rewatch those as well. I picked this one up in Devon. We went to stay with my mum for a week. She lives just outside of Torquay. It was a lovely holiday. I got to go and have a look at Agatha Christie's house where she lived with her family and wrote many of the famous books, including Dead Man's Folly. I bought a selection of the books. They're actually just on a shelf over here, including Dead Man's Folly, which she wrote about the house that she lived in and made it a Poirot mystery. I got to play her grand piano, which is cool, and I imagine something that not many people can say that they've done. But anyway, as well as that, we popped into Paynton, and there was a shop that had opened up there since the last time we'd been called Toxic Panda Games. So I went in just to go and have a look, see what it was about. And while there was plenty of video game stuff going on, the majority of what the guy had in there were DVDs and Blu-rays. So I picked this and one other thing up from in there. Or two other things, actually. Sorry, I'm just looking at the pile. But I picked this one up because it's written and directed by Wes Craven, and also written by Kevin Williamson, who did Scream with Wes Craven. So I imagine that this is going to be cheesy 90s usual sort of horror, but the fact that it's from the guys who made Scream and Nightmare on Elm Street and so many others, I know that it's going to at least have a certain amount of quality to it. So I'm looking forward to watching this one. I'm saving this one for this year's sort of spooky season in October. I picked this one up because I simply just didn't have it in the collection. I watched it earlier this year on Disney Plus. I absolutely adore this film. It's Holes. I got this one when we had a recent trip out to Sheffield, popped into Meadowhall and in the HMV there, and I had absolutely no idea that this film had even come out over here. I knew that obviously it was a film, and I knew that it had come out in the States, but I didn't realise that we were getting it on physical media. I just assumed it would show up on Netflix or Prime or something like that at some point. So when I saw it and saw that it had been reduced because it's clearly been out a while, I decided I'd grab it, and that is Jason Reitman's Saturday Night, which is the biopic of the Saturday Night Live sort of original run in the 70s. I also picked up, because I didn't have it, and Laura's cousin that lives with her parents, um, She came over probably a couple of months ago and came down here and went, I can't believe you don't have How to Train Your Dragon. So they ended up renting it on Prime. But I've been after it for cheap. But I think because the new one's just come out and it's coming out on Blu-ray and DVD soon, the like the CEX prices and stuff like that have sort of increased because there's demand for it. But anyway, I found it I think for a couple of quid or whatever it was there, and was happy to pay that price. So I'm glad to finally have that in the collection as well. And it's great to have these little sort of children's films, kids films and stuff, because as Alexander grows up, it's great to be able to introduce him to that sort of stuff and have it on hand. This next one I picked up because I basically was sold by the cast and the premise. It's Julia Stiles and Paddy Considine in The Cry of the Owl. Yeah, The Cry of the Owl. I thought I'd read that wrong then for a minute, but no, I'm looking forward to watching that again. Looks like it's going to be one that'll fit quite nicely into a spooky season, so we're gonna watch that. And then the last DVD to show you is one I picked up from CEX. I've recased it because the case that I bought it in was terrible. So it's The Entity, and I'm looking forward to watching this on a movie night soon with some friends of mine. A chap that I know, a mate of mine called Leon, who's a fellow musician. Sort of, we're all in a musicians group chat, and he made mention of this film, and it piqued the interest of a few of us. So I said, well, I like to try and hunt movies down if they're not on streaming. So went on CEX's website, found that it was in the local CEX to me, so went and bought it. So we're gonna, when we're not gigging, which is most of the time for most of us because we're working musicians, we're gonna try and get a movie night on the go and watch that. So hopefully again around the spooky sort of season. So that's all the DVDs done and dusted, and as always, we'll move into some Blu-rays. There's a few German imports in and amongst this stack. This is the first one to show you. It is Dennis Quaid in Great Balls of Fire, which is the Jerry Lee Lewis biopic. Saw that years ago when I was a teenager and loved it. Loved the acting, loved the story, loved the cast, loved the characters, the music, all of it. And I've just not tracked it down. And I thought, do you know what? I want to rewatch it. So I got it ordered. This was absolutely fantastic. I adored this in the cinemas. And again, saving a rewatch to this Halloween, Sinners. Michael B. Jordan is absolutely superb in this. It was scary. It was funny. The music was great. It actually had a proper ending. So many films these days do the whole fade to black, leave it on a cliffhanger, leave it open for a sequel, don't answer all the questions sort of thing. And it infuriates me, there's that modern filmmaking trope. But this felt like a classic film. It had a beginning, it had a middle, and it had an end. There's not going to be a sequel. There's not going to be any expansion of the universe. Well, there might be, but with the way this ends, it doesn't feel like that. And I bloody loved that. Absolutely great film. This was the last David Lynch film that I needed, apart from the Twin Peaks stuff, which I haven't delved into yet. So I'm gonna maybe have a look, see if I can stream that somewhere before I buy it all. And sort of, it might not be my cup of tea. But of his films and his works that aren't Twin Peaks, this was the last one I needed. Again, another German import. It's Eraserhead. I didn't really want to buy the Criterion and spend all that money, and that was £6 on Amazon Germany, so it just made sense. And in the same order, I picked up, because I'm slowly but surely upgrading all my classic Arnie from DVD to Blu-ray or 4K. And this was the next one on the list. It is Eraser. One of my favourite modern filmmakers. I didn't get to see this one in the cinema because obviously being a new dad, I have to pick and choose my cinema trips and when I can go, and it didn't quite sort of make it to the top of the list as one I desperately had to see in the cinema. But one of my favourite filmmakers of the modern era is Wes Anderson, so I'm really excited to sit down soon and watch The Phoenician Scheme. I've heard mixed things, but then I've heard mixed things about other films of his that I've really enjoyed. So as I always try and do, I'm going to go in and just make my own mind up. This next one, again, picked up for Laura, is probably going to be one that we're going to save for around the spooky season, and it's Death of a Unicorn. Loved this one as well. This was a really great entry and return to this franchise. Final Destination Bloodlines. This came out on DVD and Blu-ray really quick. We saw it in the cinemas in early June. Sure, it was early June. Might have been late May at the earliest, and that came out at the beginning of July. Did that Blu-ray? So an amazing turnaround. I'm surprised that it wasn't still in the cinemas at that point, but glad to own it. And again, one I'll be revisiting. We recently revisited Final Destination 4 and 5, so we'll watch that one again quite soon. I would imagine in the spooky season. This next one was one that I had to upgrade because I wanted to watch my DVD of this and ended up suffering through the DVD. And it's not often that I'll say I suffered with a DVD because I'm very much still an advocate of DVD. But this was one a bit like James Cameron's old Abyss DVD, where it was a box in the middle of the screen and it was all cropped and crap. So I suffered through it because I wanted to watch the film and it wasn't readily available anywhere to stream. But as soon as it was finished, I was straight onto Amazon and had to buy the Blu-ray. So I think I got this for £7, and it's Van Damme in Time Cop. Great film. This was one of the other ones that I picked up in. This next one was one of the other ones that I picked up in the shop in Paynton. It's the remake of The Wolfman from about 15 years ago with Benicio del Toro and Anthony Hopkins and that crowd of people. This next one was also an upgrade. I'm looking at my pile. I had another thing more than I said from the shop in Devon. But this next one is an upgrade for me. I've been wanting to upgrade these DVDs from Blu-rays or DVDs to Blu-rays for the longest time, but I've just not found them at an acceptable price and wanted them in a condensed pack so that it takes up less shelf space, sort of thing. Because the first two of this trilogy, I do probably watch once a year. The third one, I didn't care for as much, but I will still watch it. But I think it was just a bit of a misstep compared to the first two. But it's the Has Fallen trilogy, kind of a modern day Die Hard, really. Gerard Butler's great in it, as is Morgan Freeman and Aaron Eckhart in the first two as well. So yeah, I managed to get that at a really good deal in the shop in Devon. So straight away, it was like the thing that caught my eye when I went in there. I was like, "Oh, how much is that?" And then it was £7 for all three of them. I'm like, "Yep, sold." I finally got an upgrade of the first Paddington movie. I actually had it on DVD for the longest time. In fact, my DVD is here because I've just pulled it out of the collection. But I've got 2 and 3 on Blu-ray, and it doesn't normally bother me, this sort of thing. But certain films I like to have the whole collection on one format. So I've been looking for a cheap second-hand copy so that I can pop it in and have all 3 in high def. I picked this one up because me and Laura both wanted to watch it this upcoming Halloween spooky season. It's Until Dawn. And then this one is the latest Blu-ray offering from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And this is my favourite Marvel film in a long time. I thought that Captain America, I think I said in the update where I talked about buying it, was a bit of a misstep. I thought Fantastic Four was boring. I'm going to pick it up, of course, because I'm a completionist when it comes to things like the Marvel and the DC stuff. And, I do like to every few years do a run through of all those films and stuff. And I don't like to have any of the titles missing, at least the main ones. But this one felt like it recaptured the glory a little bit of the old MCU days. It felt Guardians of the Galaxy esque. It felt like maybe not the first Avengers or the double bill, but maybe sort of akin to something like Civil War or Avengers Age of Ultron. It felt it was that good for me. I really like the characters. Florence Pugh's great leading this team. It was great that they've got Bucky in there, so that there's a bit of legacy, a bit of heritage. But I really, really enjoy it, and I'm excited to see what they do with these guys going forward. I hope they've got a decent role in the upcoming Avengers movies. So that is all the regular Blu-rays. I'm rattling through this for my standards today, folks. The next one I picked up in Huddersfield CEX about a month ago, and I've been on the nosy for this one because it's out of print on the premium collection label. But again, the DVD is watchable without being great. But trying to get this is quite a hard one to come across these days. So when I saw it, I think for £10, I had to pick it up, and it's Donnie Brasco in the premium collection. The next one I've been on the lookout for probably about 12 months, and I was first introduced to this film through another YouTuber, Mike Cinema X-Man. He did a review where he talked about this film and just how it how it moved him, how it captivated him, and it was one of those ones where it's like, right, I must come across that at some point. And I toyed with importing the Spanish Blu-ray at the time, but again, you know, limited finances. You've got to pick which ones you're going to buy and what you're likely to watch in that month or in the upcoming week, sort of thing. And it was one of those that kept getting pushed down the list, and I kept thinking I'll find the DVD in a CEX or a charity shop or whatever. But anyway, Warner Archive decided that they were going to release it, and it is Jeff Bridges in Fearless. So I'm really looking forward to watching this one soon. So this next one I'm really excited about, and I'm saving a rewatch until again spooky season seems to be a bit of a common theme at the moment. But it is the original Scandinavian, I believe, Night Watch collection. I've seen the original, I've seen the remake with Ewan McGregor and Josh Brolin. Love both of those, but I've not seen the legacy sequel from 2021 that's also included in this set. It's a lovely looking set from Arrow. As soon as this was announced, it was like an immediate pre-order. So really grateful to have that. And then again, this was one that I actually went to watch the other week and then realised I didn't have it in the collection at all. I don't have the remake. I don't have any version of this film whatsoever. And I think I was confusing it with Christine, which also begins with a C. But anyway, I ordered this from HMV the same time I ordered the Night Watch collection. And me and Laura decided that we're gonna keep it again till spooky season. But it is the original Carrie, so really looking forward to revisiting that. And with that, folks, that is my DVD, Blu-ray, and boutique Blu-ray update for you for the summer of 2025. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'm very much looking forward to watching the ones that I've not seen, especially the spooky, scary horror ones in the Halloween season this October. Can you believe we're already, towards the end of September? It's practically October. It's where is the year going? It's absolutely crazy. I've almost got an 18-month-old, and it doesn't seem like 2 minutes since I was announcing that we were having him, and then he was born. Crazy how time flies, isn't it, when you're having fun? But I hope everyone's doing well. Thank you as always for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, leave it that thumbs up. Pop a comment down below. I know I can be a bit slack at responding, sort of, in the first instance, but I always read them. I'll always react to them to let you know that I've seen them, and I respond where I can. Any recommendations that you might have or anything you want to chat about, just have a natter in the comments. I do love it. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, I am trying to get this channel over 1,000 subscribers. It would probably help if I put out more regular content, and I am going to try. Life just gets in the way sometimes. I am desperately trying to bring you more content because I enjoy making it, and I know that that there's a group of you that really enjoy watching me, and it's really really humbling is that. But if you are new to the channel, please think about subscribing and helping me over that line to 1,000 subscribers. It would mean the world. And above all else, as always, folks, take care of yourself, and I look forward to seeing you again really soon in my next video, which is probably going to be me getting back to the Film Diary series. Bye for now.